Hi, I'm Darlene Costanza. I'm the president for Crimestoppers, and we're here once again to celebrate our National Crime Victims' Rights Week. And what's different this year is that we're here to elevate and give a voice to the victims who have been affected, not only the victims personally of crime, but also their families. Because as we know, this affects everyone when someone falls to a criminal act. And today we have a case that is actually from 2015 that we're going to talk about. The young lady is Ms. Kaylan Ward. And we have with us today Kenisha Martin, who is Caitlin's mom. And thank you for being here. And such a beautiful, beautiful girl and spirit. So we were talking briefly about the fact that this happened on the interstate back in June of 2015. Just tell us about that night.
Caitlyn had ran away. She was actually at a friend's house. I contacted the police when I found out where she was. I waited for 3 hours for someone to come out to the home. When they did come out to the home, I was told he didn't have the necessary paperwork to do. And if I wanted to do anything, I needed to go to the station. But I didn't want to leave that house because at that point I was going to chance my child being moved from that house to somewhere else.
Sure.
So I told him, I said, there's minors in there and there's no adult. Called child protection, called someone. And absolutely nothing was done. I did go home. The next day, I got up for work and I felt that something was wrong. Well, no, it wasn't the work day. It was actually my son's graduation. I knew something was wrong because she didn't show up. She didn't come home for the graduation. Right. I received a call that day about 5 o'clock stating that from a child that I was familiar with. And the child called my phone and said, oh, that was Caitlin's body that was found on the interstate this morning. So my first question was, how would you know that? And the child hung up. So at that point, I knew something was wrong. I started looking for my child. That was a Thursday that the body was found. From Thursday to Monday, I was up around the clock, myself and family and friends looking for my daughter. There was actually someone acting like they were her on her social media. So we thought that she still was on there because she was posting. And so that Monday morning is when I knew that something was wrong. I was sick. I got up. I went to work. When I arrived at work at 7:30, I remember praying and I said, God, I don't care how you bring my child home, just bring her home. About 10:30 that morning, I got a call from my nephew that was at my house with my other kids. But he could not. He couldn't talk. He couldn't text. He couldn't do anything. So I knew something was wrong. So I contacted my son, who was 10 at the time. And he said that there was someone there that needed to speak with me about his sister. So I asked him to ask them who they were, which I knew in my spirit what was going on. So he asked, and they told him they were from the coroner's office. And I remember him saying, isn't that where dead people are, Mama? So I didn't want to cry on the phone with him. So I ended the call with him and I asked him to put them on the phone. They asked where I was. They came to the job. All I remember feeling is 2 o'clock that morning. I remember waking up, throwing up, and sweating. And that was around the time that they said the body was found. So I actually felt my child's death.
And you know, I'm not to interrupt you, but so many families, so many mothers have told me that same thing. That, you know, this is, you just know.
Yeah. And I guess it's because you are literally connected to those children for 9 months. Like, we are separated at birth by the umbilical cord being cut. So we feel their pain. So at that point, I didn't know which way to go, but I knew that I wanted to save other girls, other children. I didn't want any other mother to feel what I was feeling at that time. There's been no answers. There's been no support. You don't know who to call because things are constantly changing and they're not informing you when there's new personnel put on different cases. this did happen in 2015, but I'm not giving up. And
Yeah.
my advice to other parents are, don't give up. Like,
That's right.
I was her biggest advocate when she was alive, and I have to continue being her advocate. You know, I had to be strong. Like, I had no other option. I had 2 other children that needed me. And then on top of that, I had lost my husband some years before that due to violence. So for me, there was no other option but to be strong. And, you know, a lot of mothers and fathers don't have that support. I had a lot of support. And people ask me all the time, like, how do you do it? And I tell them, it's nothing but God. It's nothing, because I remember crying out to God, like, God, just get me through this. And he did just that.
So I think one of the messages that we hear, and you just said it, was if you don't have a support system, find places to find that support system. There are organizations that will offer that to you. Come to Crimestoppers, and we will try to help. There's support groups, but I think the worst thing is they feel alone.
Yes, it is, and it's hard talking to people who don't identify with the same, the same pain that you have, because people don't understand. Like, you know, I tell people, you can't say it'll be all right. It won't.
No.
It will never be okay. You know, people say, in time. No, in time it doesn't, you know. Like, I still cry every day. I just learned to manage my pain, but it's a struggle daily for parents.
And I think that's what we want to show through these videos, that this is not something that you see at 15 seconds in the news and it's gone. This is a total life-changing experience for everybody.
For everybody, friends, family. You know, her friends they're grieving to this day, and it's hard to see them not be able to move on in their lives because of what happened 8 years ago.
Right. Well, I know you've been an advocate out there for many years, and I want to say thank you for continuing the fight, continuing to try to help other moms, not giving up, never give up. And, you know, I pray that if there's somebody out there that can help, and that's why we're sharing this. Share it with your friends, share it, you know, through your networks, but, you know, here's another mom, another family, and Caitlyn, I mean, she needs justice, she needs closure.
Yes.
So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
God bless y'all.